Hello, this is Sassy, a little bit of class. Today we're going to be deep diving, okay? Today we're coming from the mums and dads. We're going to be discussing parent separation, your early years of life, like maybe before 10, or whether you were in your teens, 20s, or older, okay? Adulthood. We're going to be discussing pros and cons of parent separation and the baggage that comes with that. So yeah, let's dive right in. Also just want to address the elephant in the room here. I have got my jammies on, okay? I've got work in a couple hours. So I just want to chill, okay? Just want to be cute and cozy. Got my pumpkin spice candle sitting over there. So yeah, now we can dive right in. So I feel like as a child going through your parents breaking up, I feel like at the time you're quite oblivious, depending on the age. And you definitely won't be thinking like, oh, I wonder how this is going to affect me when I'm older. When you're a kid, you definitely just kind of go with the flow, and it might have affected your behaviours, maybe at school, during that period. But quite soon, children are really good at adapting, so it kind of just becomes the norm. But I feel like as you're older, you go, okay, so Christmas is going to be different, birthday is going to be different. You might be starting to think about marriage. How is that going to work out? And it's a lot worse if they've separated and they really don't like each other. Like, it was a bad breakup, you know? I'm going to give you a little background of my situation and how I feel like that's affected me, and then we'll jump right into listener stories, okay? Also, can I just say, I also had so many people message me about parent separation. Wow, okay? And it was like from ages like mid-teens to like mid-40s. It was so good. I feel like I've got like a good wee range. Do you know what I mean? Some of you were young, under 9, some of you were older, some of you were in your 20s, someone's was actually really fresh. I'm like, oh, juicy, thank you. I actually feel like really trusted in a way. Like, wow, you're actually trusting me to like share your story and not to share too much and to share it well. I think that's I feel a bit of pressure today. I'm feeling a bit of pressure. So yeah. So yeah, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for trusting me, guys. So my mum and dad split up when I was 18, and I think being older, I definitely had more of like a voice, we'll say. At that age, you have a lot more responsibility. Like you kind of have a role in it. Do you know what I mean? I feel like a third party. Okay, so when they were arguing, I would obviously voice my opinion. That's just the type of teenager I was. I could have been the group chat. I could have been the group chat referee, but I was in there. Okay. Um, Definitely had my say. I think it's harder as well because when you're older, you know what's going to happen. You know what the next steps are. And I had obviously my little brother and sister to think about too. You have a family, the last thing you want is there to be like, oh yeah, this is your day and this is my, do you know what I mean? Who wants that? No one, okay? Seems like hell. But I kind of knew that was what was coming for them as well, especially with like Christmases and things like that. Christmas is my birthday, so how was that going to work out? Do you know what I mean? Family holidays as well, like events, weddings, things like that. I knew everything was going to change, okay? Actually, just before COVID as well. So basically, this happened and then COVID hit. I felt like none of my friends were there for me, and I'll call every single one of these out. None of yous. Um, To be fair, at that time in my life, I was shutting everyone off. In the age I was, it completely changed my mindset. I was cutting everyone off, left, right, and centre. If my mum and dad could be together for so long and then just stop and call it quits and end it all, then I don't stand a chance. Do you know what I mean? How is little 18-year-old me going to find someone? Do you know what I mean? Never going to happen. So I cut every single thing off that I thought could lead to a serious relationship, including friends. Just totally distanced myself, and then COVID hit, that then put my mood at all time low. So that was a lot of fun. So for a long time, I'm going to say just maybe under a year, I kind of felt like I didn't really belong to like a home, if that makes sense. Like I couldn't face going into my mum's because no thank you. That was kind of like the home. Do you know what I mean? That was like my family home. Everyone was there, and it's literally just crashed and shattered in a matter of days, really. And when I was there, when eventually I would go in, I'd be like, well, this just feels weird because like my dad's not here. And then when I was at my dad's, I'd be like, well, this isn't home either because where's my siblings and where's my mum and where's my little family dog? Do you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't feel like it was a home. And when I'd be at work, I'd be like, yeah, I'm just going to my dad's. Like, I wouldn't say, oh, I'm going home. Like, oh, that's my way home, or well, I just couldn't use that phrase because I just didn't feel like I belonged anywhere, and that is probably just me being stubborn, to be honest. And that's just kind of what I do. I just totally put up a guard and go, I'm not calling anything home because nothing's stable anymore. Like I could call someone home and then be like, oh no, actually it's not home. Do you know what I mean? It just, everything was just like, nothing was forever. Everything was so unstable. There was a lot going on, and I just felt like this is just too much. So I just basically, anything that I think could have hurt me, I just thought, no thanks. Looking back, it definitely affected the way I view relationships. I thought, absolutely not for me. I'm going to be single Pringle all my life. My friends probably thought I was the worst person ever because anytime they would be like really excited about meeting someone or going exclusive with someone, I would completely shut it down. I'd be like, what is the point? Like, you're going to end anyway. Like, just like nothing's forever. Everything's going stable. It's going to hurt you. Like, that was the kind of mindset I had, and I definitely did. I definitely did put that onto other people. Sorry about that. I was going through a tricky time, you know. And literally about 6 months after it all kicked off, and I met Connor. So I met him when I literally hated relationships. I hated men. I hated everything in life. I thought, no, I'm going to be single all my life, and yeah. But then here I am. Do you know what I mean? I met Connor. I felt like I definitely did have a guard up. I feel like my last episode, I was definitely self-sabotaging. Like, it was really, really bad. I remember saying when me and Connor first got together, I was like, by the way, I'm going to try and ruin this because it's just the mindset I'm in at the moment. Sorry. I was just like, well, it's going to end anyway. Do you know what I mean? I've just watched Mum and Dad, who have been loved up for about 20 years, fall and shatter. Do you think, what makes you think we stand a chance, hun? Do you know what I mean? I feel like when you go through your parents splitting up at any age, it either makes you crave someone, like daddy issues, like you literally crave that attachment, or it could make you like stand off and want to be independent and just avoidant with everything. And that's kind of the way that I went, and it was basically instantly, like as soon as it happened, I thought, no thanks, like this wasn't part of the plan, guys, how dare you. I definitely feel like that's where I got that mentality of, if I fuck this up first, then it's on my terms. Do you know what I mean? If you leave me, it's on my terms. And I think that's the scariest thing, like being vulnerable, like being in a relationship is the most vulnerable thing you could do. And I feel like putting yourself into that situation, you have no control of what's going to happen or what the other person does. I couldn't fully trust him 100% because of all the baggage I had. Split ups are never just like a clean cut, do you know what I mean? It's always messy, it always lasts for like weeks, months. So yeah, it was still really fresh when me and Connor met, and I had to kind of keep him in the loop. I was like, look, my family's a bit messy at the moment. Sorry about that. You've came at a bad time. If you are going through a breakup and you have met someone randomly and out of nowhere, then I think the best thing you can do is communicate it, because that's what I done. So they've got that kind of understanding of, right, okay, they are a wee bit psycho, but they've got a reason. That doesn't mean you can act however you want and be like, oh, it's because Mum and Dad's blah. Like, that's not the way to be. I'm going to move on to the listeners' comments, okay? I've narrowed it down to 3 because they're kind of all different perspectives of separation. One of the listeners says that they were under 5 years old when their parents first split. But to be fair, reading what they had said, it kind of sounded more like it was the aftermath that affected them. So it wasn't necessarily the breakup, it was what occurred after. So after her mum and dad split, her dad obviously tried to fill that void and had a few other girlfriends, and then finally settled down, and they were together for about 7 years. This new girl, we're going to call her the stepmom kind of figure, okay? She basically was the one pushing for the kids and the dad to have this bond. So it was her that was planning all the days out and making time for that. This stepmom, it seems like, was basically raising her stepkids. But then the stepmom figure and the dad then broke up themselves, and this then left the children without the dad because the dad cut contact, and obviously the stepmom wasn't there to push that, so they also lost their stepmom as well. And I think that's so sad, and that must have been so hard, and I actually wish I asked more questions on that, because losing a step parent could be just as hard as losing an actual parent, especially if they've had such a big impact in your life at such a young age. I know some step parents are actually better than the actual parents, so you know what? Don't ever feel embarrassed about losing a step parent, because it's the same thing. Okay. Another listener says that her mum and dad didn't split when she was young, but she wished that they did because of everything that they put her through. She was there for all the arguments at such a young age. When they finally did separate, it wasn't until she was in her 20s. So she had all that trauma and all that experience. Now that she's kind of reflecting and looking at past relationships, she kind of feels like she's showing some of the negative experiences that she's seen and heard, and because the damage was already done by the time that they actually eventually did split, she's now showing these patterns in our current or previous relationships. I feel like it's really, really common as well to worry and to have that fear of, is this a cycle? Like, am I going to be like that too? Is that how I'm going to behave? Am I just like them? And having that fear of inheriting the bad behaviours. And I feel like that's actually not true. If you were to give that a wee Google, you'll find out that's false. And you could definitely break the cycle. Funny how sometimes history does actually repeat itself, but yeah, you could definitely break that. Okay, on to our last listener story. This is a bit of a, I add this one in because it's a bit of a different look on things, okay? This listener was saying that her mum and dad split up when she was 9 and it was due to her mum cheating, which I think's a bit of a different spin because I feel like we're flipping the script a wee bit. The listener stories I had in was all either you didn't specify why they split up or it was cheating but it was from the dad's side. But this one's interesting because it's actually from the mum's side. And this girl was 9 years old and she remembers all the arguments and she remembers all the fights really, really clearly. And again, she has that fear that she might actually inherit these behaviours and she got that in her to cheat. And this is another question as well. Do you think everyone is capable of cheating? Because I don't think everyone is. But I've spoke to someone else and they think, yeah, I think everyone is. It's just like you do it or you don't. But I just feel like my conscience just wouldn't let me away with that. I would just feel too guilty. I'd be like, no, thank you. I just wouldn't put myself in the situations because I just don't think, I don't know. And then again, once a cheat, always a cheat. I don't know. It's a hard one. You hear about a woman cheating, people are in shock. But when it's a man, they just kind of eye roll and go, oh, well, it's a man. What do you expect? You go, oh, he's a man. Like, of course he was going to cheat. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's basically just accepted now. Like, it's the norm. And it definitely is not the norm. And I want to put a start to that because I think it's actually disgusting. And I feel like as well, women are like the nurturers. They've got their heads screwed on in the relationship because that's kind of the stereotype. When it happens and it's a woman, everyone's like that, oh my goodness. But we should just be as shocked when it's a man because what gives men the right? I think the only difference is when a woman cheats, I feel like it's about emotion, it's about attachment. They've definitely pre-cheated, okay? They've been texting them for maybe a couple of weeks. They've got that connection and it's more emotional. But when a man cheats, I feel like it's ego and it's all about one thing. I feel like children will go, if they need emotional support, they go to their mums, okay? Their mums are really affectionate, they're more nurturing, like I was saying. I feel like that's just who children go to. You see it and I see it in my work as well. The children will go to the staff that look more like mumsy and that have that love and that affection, okay? What happens when that emotional support actually causes negative emotional feelings, okay? Who's your safe place? I feel like if you're a child or even an adult and you always go to the same safe place for emotional support, but then that then betrays you and your trust, then what? And I feel like that is really when people's mindsets start to be changed because it's like, well, who can I trust if I can't even trust my mum or my dad? Then where do I go from here? And I feel like that's when people either look in the wrong places or boys might look up to older men and might get into the wrong crowd because they're looking for that dominance and they're looking for that father figure. And the girls, they might go and look for it elsewhere as well. I feel like if you've chosen to cheat, okay, on your partner or whatever, I feel like you've not only then agreed, basically, to betray your partner, but you've also fully agreed to betray your family as well. And I feel like maybe it's not a conscious choice, but I feel like in the back of your mind, how did you think that was going to go? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, all separations are hard, and even if even if it's not caused by cheating, it's someone else that's messy, okay? I don't care what any celeb says. No one to go, oh, we ended on good terms. No, you didn't. Stop lying. I want the tea. I feel like as well, looking around when I was at that age, when my mum and dad did split up, I was like, wait, is there actually anyone still together? Like, and I was just, and if they were together, I'd be like, well, they'll be splitting up soon. Do you know what I mean? I was just so, like, negative about everything. And to be fair, there actually aren't that many couples still together. Obviously, maybe your grands and granddads and that, you know, like, back in the day when they got married at, like, 12 or whatever. But I feel like nowadays, or previous generations, like our mums and dads, aren't really staying together. And I think it's probably due to social media. There's so many options. You could literally text anyone. You could be cheating with AI at this point. To be honest, Connor's on the verge. He keeps speaking to us every single night. I'm like, you on the phone to someone? No, I'm just speaking to Chat GPT. I'm like, oh, get out. Do you know what I mean? I think we need to be more active at communication and actually just living in the moment. Like, are you going to go out with Zac Efron? No, you're not. So why are you comparing him to your boyfriend? Do you know what I mean? And also, you comparing your boyfriend to someone's picture that's maybe been edited or maybe it's not, but will you actually get on with him as a person? Because remember, the personality is a big deal here, hun. If I'm not bouncing off you, if we can't make jokes and slag each other off, I don't want it. You definitely need to get on with someone's personality, so don't go. I feel like as soon as someone has a problem in a relationship, they just go, who can I have? Who's next? Next, please. Do you know what I mean? In the words of Ariana Grande, thank you, next. I think, no, okay? Work on what you have, okay? And obviously, if it is quite obvious, like, know what I think is crazy, right? The ones that could work it out, split up, okay? And the ones that can't work it out and should split up, stay together and cause harm to children mentally. Okay? And if you're using the term, when it's good, but when it's bad, it's really bad, leave. Okay? If there's been things that have been toxic that's happened and you feel like, am I going to be able to get over this? And if you think you can't get over something and you'll bring it up every argument, leave. Because what's the point? If you're bringing someone up all the time, that's playing on your mind a lot more than what you're actually saying. So could you imagine, see if someone keeps bringing someone up to you like, oh my God, I can't believe you've done this. Oh my God, I can't believe you've done that. And you keep going, can you stop bringing that up? Could you imagine how often they're actually thinking about it? Do you know what I mean? I think be mindful, okay? Be in the moment and yeah. But yeah, if you're just staying for the kids, that's the worst thing you could do. You're actually hurting us more by staying together because, come on guys, baggage, trauma, no thank you. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and I hope I managed to express your feelings about parent separation. Well, I feel like I had a wee bit of pressure here with all the listeners' comments. I kind of just wanted to like tell them all, but to be here all day. But yeah, thank you so much for trusting me with this one and I'll see you in the next one. As always, keep it sassy, keep it classy, and I'll see you on Sunday. Have an amazing week. Remember, if you do want to be involved in the episode, please follow me on all my socials. Send me a little cheeky email, you know. Everything is linked down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review. Mwah. Also, leave me a wee comment. I absolutely love a comment. Okay, actually, did you see I've actually got my first hate comment? Rude. But yeah, honestly, am I meant to reply to hate? Because I would have loved to, but I thought I won't. But should I? Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Does that mean I've made it? I think it means I've made it.